ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ثم أما بعد في قوله سبحانه وتعالى وما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not impose any difficulty or extra difficulty on you when it comes to religion, when it comes to worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is all within our ability. We know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala obligated us with at least the pillars of Islam that we all know. Fasting and praying and such has difficulty, no doubt. But the difficulty is within our ability. It's not too hard to do or something that we cannot function in our life because of it. And we know that all the worships that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded upon us, it is for our advantage. A lot of people think that we are serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if we're paying Him back or we're doing Him a favor. Because some people, when they have problems, they say, oh, you know, and I was praying and I was doing this and look what happened to me. As if, oh, mashallah, you're doing so much that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to just take care of you and no problems whatsoever. We miss the point. Salah is good for us, not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't benefit from it. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the prayer because it does wonders to us. It makes us feel good. It relieves us. It solves our problems. It connects us with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where when you are connected, you are just the strongest that you can ever be. It erases your sins. It gives you light in this life. It is just plain good for you. Same thing with fasting, same thing with Hajj, same thing with all of those things. So it is all within our ability, which means there are situations that it becomes above our ability. And that's what the ayah means. Whenever there is hardship that is more than what you can handle, easiness comes with it. Meaning the rules are not as strict as they are. And one of those that I want to address today is Salah. Salah is the most important thing in your life. After Shahadatan, Salah is. So, in Salah, there are pillars and there are obligations and there are sunan. Pillars, if you miss it, you don't do one pillar, your whole salah is invalid. Unless either you catch up with it before it's too late, or you make up the rak'ah that the pillar is missing in it. Wajibat, if you intentionally don't do it, your salah is invalid. But if you forget, you can make it up by sujood as-sahl. And the same thing with sunan. Let's look at the pillars and address one. Pillars, intention, standing, saying Allahu Akbar, reading Al-Fatiha, bowing for ruku', coming up from bowing, standing, bowing for sujood, coming up from sujood, going back for sujood, salamu alaykum, salamu alaykum, khushu' while you're doing those and doing them in order as I mentioned. All of these are pillars. You miss one, you better catch up with it, or you make up, or the whole salah is invalid. The brother prayed and missed one of those. He remembered when he was in the car, oh, I only did one sujood. What do we tell him? Go catch up the rak'ah? No. repeat the whole salah because it's too late. But if he remembered short time after he said Assalamu alaikum, then he can come and pray extra rak'ah, and that will take care of it. The topic that I want to address is qiyam. Qiyam, standing. Every one of us is sometime in his life or her life cannot stand, need to sit down. When can you sit down? And how often? And how long? And when do you get the permission for it? Just because my knee literally hurt, I can just come and sit down and say, you know, I'm in pain? Well, this is something that we and you can tell. I cannot tell. The pain to him is different than the pain to me. Everyone is different. But the rule is, if you don't stand, your salah is invalid. Unless you are very sick, where you can't stand, like handicap, or very sick, too old, or if you stand, your sickness will increase. You can stand, but if you stand longer, your sickness will increase. In these three cases, you don't have to stand. But when you come and you go to the car and come from the car and stand, talk with the brothers and shake hands and give hugs and maybe even go to work and everything, but when it comes to the salah, you grab a chair and you sit on it. Who are you playing with? So what's the criteria? One of the scholars said, if you can conduct your affairs standing, then you have no excuse to not stand in the salah. Ibn Uthaymin rahimahullah said, if standing is so painful that you cannot have khushu' or focus on the salah, all you think is about when we're going to finish, or when is he going to finish al-Fatiha, then you can sit. So this is the criteria. But if you can stand for 15 seconds, stand for 15 seconds, and when you see yourself too hard to bear, you sit down. And if you sit down, does that mean you do sujood while you're sitting down? Sujood has different rulings. Ruku' has different rulings. You can start standing, sit, and before ruku', get up and do ruku' and sit again if you can do sujood. Whatever part you can do, you have to do. Just because I can't stand doesn't mean I cannot do ruku', doesn't mean I cannot do sujood. Just because I cannot do sujood doesn't mean I can't stand. Some people cannot bend their knees, but they can stand on their knees. And many people like that. And most of the people who have arthritis or have any of those sicknesses, the problem is in getting up and bending and all that, but in standing you can manage it. So salah is so important to us, we don't really think about those things. And we automatically assume that if you sit, that means you sit all throughout the salah. No, I can be tired and over my capacity, I sit the second rak'ah, I stand up. Who judges that? You. It's you who should care for the salah. It's you who should or will be standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If your salah is not taken care of, you really have nothing good in your life. And the day of judgment is just as bad. So you should pay extra attention for your salah. And there are so many opportunities that I feel shy myself to stand and talk with the brothers. Yes, I'm in pain, but I'm talking to him. I don't tell him, excuse me, brother, I need to sit down. And I continue talking. But yet when I come and stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I want to sit down immediately. How does that work? I mean, I feel, I'm talking about myself, not you. I mean, I have problems with my knees and more. Sometimes in sunan, you can sit. And you will get the reward of standing if you are in pain. But if you choose to sit and you're not in pain, you can still do it. Yani this young man here, you can pray sunnah sitting down. No problem. But what's the difference? You get half the reward. Half the reward. That's sunnah. And if you pray sitting down because of sickness, then you get full credit for it. So we need to understand that whenever you have a problem that makes you cannot stand up, and unfortunately you find some people praying in their car. Why? Because the Salah, came while I'm on the freeway or driving, or sisters, maybe they're shopping, they're at Kroger and Walmart and the mall and everything, oh my God, what am I going to pray? It's like, it's haram to pray outside, but it's not haram to miss the whole Salah. But I'll go and pray in the car because I cannot pray anywhere. You have no prayer, sisters. And brothers, if you do that while you're coming from work, if you pray sitting down without a valid reason, your prayer is invalid. And praying inside the car because you're in the mall, it's not valid reason. Or because you're on the freeway, it's not valid reason. Or because you're in traffic, it's not valid reason. You need to get out of your car and pray outside. And arrange your time where Salah is number one. You know when Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib and Isha, and you can guesstimate how long you're going to cruise in your trip, in your shopping spree, or whatever you call it, and plan it accordingly. Pray before you go, or plan to come back before the next prayer, or so forth. Or you pray outside, standing, regardless of how you feel. This is very important. Many of us know Salah is the most important thing, but what do? They give it the least importance. The least importance. Any little thing makes them give up the Salah, or do it the way they want to do it, or skip the whole thing altogether, or start combining prayers and making rules and coming up with all of those excuses under taysir. Islam is a religion of easiness. So we start inventing our rules and changing our plans and acting like we are the bad people who are trying to make Islam difficult because we're telling you the way it is. Anyone who needs to say anything like that, make sure you go and you look and you read and you have your proof and your word. It's not just Islam is easiness. That means I don't even have to pray, or I can shorten the prayer whenever, or make jama' whenever, or pray sitting or standing, it's all the same, or don't hurt yourself. You know yourself. If you know the Salah, and you know the wajib and the fard and the pillar and all of those, then you can deal with it yourself. Other than that, when you don't know any of those rules, it's best for you to ask someone who knows and take care of your Salah, because it is your most valuable asset and you definitely don't want to lose it. So make sure that you are standing when you're praying, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to always help you establish the Salah the way it pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli." The essence of all of this, the hadith of Imran ibn Husayn radiallahu anh came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was complaining about hemorrhoid, and he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, "Oh Prophet of Allah, I need to ask you about the Salah, meaning it is difficult for me to pray. Tell me what I can do." So the Prophet ﷺ told him, "Salli qa'iman," pray while you're standing. فَإِن لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ فَجَالِسًا أَوْ عَلَى جَنْبٍ. فَإِن لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ, sitting down. فَإِن لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ فَعَلَى جَنْبٍ أَوْ مُسْتَلْقِيًا. And if you can, then on your side or laying down. So here is the rule. Pray standing, too difficult to handle. Sit down, too difficult to handle. On your side or lying down, and inshallah you will take care of that, and you will inshallah enjoy the Salah and make sure that everything is done according to the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with. Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your time, for your effort, and for your prayer. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us our dua and our prayer. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
I have one question. If people are praying in the aeroplane, how about that? I saw plenty of time people are praying in the aeroplanes.
Well, go to the exit seat and pray there, or go to the back and ask the waitresses, hostess, and
Is
I
this the right
guarantee.
thing?
Oh yeah, they let you do that.
Huh?
Try it. If you tried all
I
of,
saw the plenty of time that people are disturbing other people. You know, when they're praying.
well, they disturb me when they go to the bathroom. I don't say anything. So I think you gotta choose what makes you the prayer. If you cannot find one, then you're forgiven, inshallah.